Are lingering depression symptoms affecting you? If you're on an antidepressant and still struggling with lingering depression symptoms, ask your doctor about a lift in relief with Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat major depressive disorder, MDD, in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness, and a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot, so let's get to decorating. Find your perfect tree in our huge assortment of shapes, sizes, and styles. Like the easy-to-assemble Jackson Noble Fir with pre-lit branches perfect for styling with all your favorite ornaments. Or the flocked Starry Light Fraser Fir with over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that keep their shape so it's ready right out of the box. Ooh. Find the perfect tree now at the Home Depot and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, every day is Veterans Day. Navy Federal serves more than 2 million veterans by providing the support they need to succeed financially. They offer members exclusive rates, discounts, and perks. 45% of their employees are directly tied to the military, so Navy Federal understands the needs of the veterans they serve.
That's right. And Navy Federal donates to not-for-profits focused on veterans like The Mission Continues and Rebuilding Together. And remember that active duty veterans and their families can join Navy Federal. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/veterans. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Episode 459, 5 Ways Your Childhood Impacts How You Spend Money.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about your childhood and your adult money and how the two connect.
Oh, so exciting.
Jill is so excited. Jill, we don't talk about it a ton, but she is a licensed clinical social worker. And so stuff like this is her jam.
I do enjoy it, which it probably is good to remind. I'm sure our OGs know that about me, but we have gotten some reviews that say like this is pseudo psychology, blah,
really?
blah, blah. It was a while ago, but I'm like, no, I am licensed to be able to talk about this. But
oh, wow.
So here you have it. I keep it under wraps for the most part, but it is really thrilling to me when I get to combine that aspect of my personhood with finances. And of course, you see it throughout for both of us. I think we enjoy looking at ourselves as whole people and exploring the ways that all of the aspects of who we are impact our money decisions and behaviors, because it is not just about math. It is not just about putting numbers on a paper and making the exact right decisions. There's so much that plays into really all of our behaviors and our outlook on life, which of course impacts money. And so, of course, similar to all the rest of life, our childhood, the way that we were raised, impacts how we move through life, for better or worse. There are some really beautiful things about that. For some of us, there's some things we need to untangle and create new patterns of relating. And the same is true for money. But yet it's one of the areas that I think we talk about and look at the least regarding what did this look like in my childhood and what of those things are spilling over now. So that's what we're going to explore. We're breaking it down into 5 ways. Of course, there's more than that. We're primarily looking at just what your understanding of your upbringing can do to help you make better spending decisions now.
But first, this episode is brought to you by the playground. Love them or hate them, the playground is a great place to wear your children out so that they come home tired and ready for bed. But we all know sometimes there are really lackluster playgrounds, but sometimes you get to go to a mega playground, and we love the mega playgrounds. They are fenced in. They have the turf. Your toddler is not going to eat mulch, and it's just going to give your kid more space to wear themselves out. Just like there's a big difference between savings accounts. The savings account that is tied to your checking account, it's fine. It's going to do the job. It's going to hold your money. But a high yield savings account is going to work your money. And you're going to be able to afford those extra manicures, pedicures every month or every quarter, depending how much you got in there. You can afford to go out to eat. Your high yield savings account can pay for that for you if you're keeping your emergency fund in there. So our favorite one right now is that CIT, frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT. And if you do not have your money in a high yield savings account, go do that. Why would you just stick to the small playground when you have a mega playground right there waiting for you?
Where your kids won't eat the mulch.
Yes.
That's what a high yield savings account will do for you.
So it's a real problem.
Yeah,
it is a real problem.
Oh, it hurts too when you fall on that mulch and it just gets stuck. Yeah.
Okay. You don't think about it, but it's there.
We polled you all in the Friendletter and asked, what do you most wish you learned about money as a kid? And you all, of course, most of you did say how to invest, but there was then a good spread between the rest of the answers of how to spend wisely, best ways to save money, the realities of debt, that was actually second place, and then, of course, how to invest. So really, we are kind of all over the map, almost saying we really wish we just had a financial crash course, a 101 growing up. And so we feel, it's really not talked about very often. And that doesn't mean that we have to then settle in that place. It doesn't mean that we can't learn the skill of spending well and managing money well, but it is good to recognize if you weren't taught these things, then how could you expect yourself to know them now? And recognizing that, and then being kind to yourself by learning these skills now, no matter what age you are. It's never too late.
Yeah, I think the answer, because there were some responses, I think the answer that got me most was from our reader who said, I just wish I hadn't been brushed off every time I asked an adult, other than my mother, about anything money related. At least she answered honestly, and she understood more than you'd expect for somebody who never went to college and didn't have anything but life experience for a teacher. And it is kind of signaling how a lot of this is gate kept. And that's, we'll go into that a little bit, but there are a lot of gaps for us, and they're generational, like you can't you don't know what you don't know. You can't teach what, you don't know is needed to teach. And so a lot of that is the source of some of these, like, maybe like money traumas or just money, like, forgotten about money lessons that we did not get as kids. But I am very excited to go through this episode.
So the article we're going to focus on today comes from Tatler. It's titled Wealth with Sophia, How Your Childhood May Have Impacted Your Relationship with Money and What You Can Do About It. We pulled out five takeaways, although this wasn't explicit within this article. This was a little bit more mining the article for some of these takeaways, and then I added in just a few just that I know about. But I really enjoyed this article, and I think it's worth diving into. And they cite at the beginning this research from the University of Cambridge, where they found that many of our fundamental money habits are already taking shape by the tender age of 7. By the time we are 7 years old, we have formulated an idea, an understanding of money, even if it's not been explicitly talked about.
Yep.
And those habits are the very ones that we will carry with us into adulthood, if not then kind of taught or undone or added to. And if you combine that with the reality that many schools and parents are not teaching their kids about money, if at all, at least usually after 7. You're not usually having these money conversations. For many of us, we didn't. So it's an interesting thing to realize, wow, there's so much that we pick up on early on, and the information comes so much later than that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it can really help us to see why we might have some of these habits and behaviors that aren't necessarily benefiting us financially, and what can we do about it? And how can this help inform those of us who might be parents to be able to teach children? And this is maybe the call out to say, yeah, no, it's not 3, 4, 5, 6 is not too early if a lot of this is being picked up by age 7.
Yeah, we just had an episode several weeks ago with Andy Hill about how to make your kid a millionaire. And most of it was focused on how do we form their mindset around money? How do we help them shape that mindset? And you cannot start too early. As soon as they start to ask about things that require limits or boundaries or consumption, like that's it. That's the starting point. So yeah, if you're wondering when to start teaching kids about money, it's definitely before 7. But if you haven't yet, it's also not too late.
So the first one that I want to extract from this article as how our upbringing impacts the way that we now engage with money is our parents or caregivers' attitudes towards money. This is something that we certainly pick up on, again, whether or not is we sit down and talk about money as kids with our parents, but what are the general attitudes around money? How did your parents engage with money? What did you watch them do regarding spending and saving? What were beliefs about wealth? Did they stick to societal norms? Did they kind of operate on the fringe? Were they pushing back against consumerism? Were they fully engaged in it? How was money kind of approached, understood, talked about, just general attitudes about money? That this is something that we then can take on, whether we take on the same type of attitudes as our parents, or we choose, maybe to go into the opposite extreme. Either way, it does form some of the foundation of how we even view this thing.
Yeah, it's that more is caught than taught thing. That's the first part. So like the way you speak about money, not even in conversation, but just the way that you maybe speak to other people and children are hearing it, or the way your parents would speak about it, or the way they would look at a bill, like you get a bill in the mail and there's just like so much turmoil, or watching people, parents just spend money willy-nilly, like money comes in, money comes out. That's the belief. So like what you caught is significantly going to influence your attitude towards money. So the next one I think is maybe the biggest one, and it follows up kind of on the reader reply that I just read. It's the communication about money. So this is what your parents actually told you or what they did not tell you, even if you asked. And this was a big thing in my house. My parents did not want to talk to me about money because they didn't want to, quote unquote, burden me with that. It was, so I picked up that money is a burden. Having money is hard, and not having it is a burden. Or I didn't even know if we had a lot of money. I assumed that we didn't because we didn't have the house and the stuff like other people. So then I interpreted money as a burden and something to be scared of entering into adulthood. Like, cherish, this time when you don't have to worry about money, because money is a negative thing when you reach adulthood.
Yeah. And I think too, well, we'll get to experiences, but also the specific time, the environment in which you grew up and were living in, and how you saw your parents kind of walk through. Like, so for you and I, Jen, the 2008 housing crisis and different kind of economic downturns through some of those formative years may shift, parental attitudes and the communication about money versus someone who might have been a child during economic times that were really great. That's going to play a part in this as well. Just even what generation did you grow up in, and what was the parental generation before you? How were they kind of approaching some of these things?
Yeah, I think
decade to decade.
Also, I think the important thing from that reader reply too was that this person had asked other people outside of their family, like wanted to know and explore, and people wouldn't answer her questions.
Yeah.
Like, either because maybe they didn't know and they didn't want to be wrong. Like, nobody talks about money, so we don't feel confident in it, right? So nobody would answer questions. So it also felt like a gate-kept thing. And something I see and have been thinking a lot about is how, like, I just got back from FinCon. And so there are definitely a section of people that are moderate income, but you've got people there that are very high income and high net worth. And because we're all money nerds, everybody intermingles and talks about money, and it's not weird. But at home, it's hard. I find myself doing this when I am with someone I know is doing like at least $250,000 like in income every year. And they've got their nice cars, they've got their brand new house and all this stuff. And like, they're talking about things I can't relate to. And there's a bit of judgment. Like, you are complaining about things that a lot of other people don't have to complain about. And like, that just feels icky to me because I relate on a lower income level. So then in turn, they feel judged, and I'm internalizing all this, but I assume they feel judged. So they stop hanging out with people who are in that lower income bracket and try to exclusively hang out with, more people in the higher income bracket. So that alienates high income earners from low income earners. And we have essentially alienated ourselves because of our judgment, and it makes it harder to be in relationship with these people who could answer questions for us and feel more confident. They are more confident in those answers. And and the divide grows with every generation. Because in part due to some of our judgmentalness.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're probably also highlighting what our experience could be in childhood as well with that, with where we live. Again, that environment and that we're talking about, not just the generation and the time frame in which we were growing up, but also the location. We see this with housing. Like, I live in a lower middle class neighborhood. And so that's all I'm surrounded by. If I had children, that would be the income bracket that we have here, right? Most neighborhoods don't have stark differences on the same road of what the houses look like and the socioeconomic status. And so we also then kind of only know what we see, what we're surrounded by, and the income brackets, and then the attitudes about money and the conversations about money that may or may not happen. And one of the things that I see, and I'm just going to say this anecdotally, this is not like research backed, but it seems to me that those with less talk about money less. Those with more will talk about it more, just as far as financial education. And so, we're not learning, of course, we're talking about maybe not having, but we're not necessarily talking about, how can I improve the situation? How can I make better decisions? Whereas those in some of these higher income brackets might have more of the knowledge about investing, how they got there, and are teaching their children more about it. And so there's that cycle that you're talking about of continued disparity because we're not around it. We don't have access to it. No one's teaching us about it. And it's not our current living situation either. So how do we kind of learn new patterns and different ways? And the only way I think is exposing ourselves to those things.
Right. Yeah. Kind of putting aside some of our maybe judgmentalness or insecurity, some imposter syndrome, and kind of breaking that from, I was the poor kid, growing up, and putting ourselves in more of those, it's baby steps, right? Like we say, when you're trying to say no to impulse spending, you make baby steps. And the quicker the successes you have, the more confident you feel, right? Baby steps. And it's the same way. Like the more we network with people who have been more successful with money, more successful negotiating career moves and all that, it's going to feel awkward at first, but that's how you break the cycle, is by being a little uncomfortable and putting yourself in these situations so that you have a community where you can ask questions, and people who've already ascended these baby steps, or maybe just were born ahead of the game and had fewer baby steps to walk, so that you can get your questions answered more confidently.
And I want to clarify, at least for me, the goal isn't so that I end up in a big mansion with beautiful luxury cars. And, I'm sitting on top of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and I'm sequestering myself away from society and culture. I would hope that if I did come upon more money, that it wouldn't change too much about my lifestyle and my community. But I think that there is something to be said for, it's okay to want more. It's okay to want to earn a little bit more, to not constantly feel stretched thin. So, of course, talking about, I think both you and I have experiences of not having a lot through childhood. So I think, some of this is bringing up our own personal backgrounds and kind of how it's impacted us.
Whether you're starting or scaling your company's security program, demonstrating top-notch security practices and establishing trust is more important than ever. Vanta automates compliance for ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR, and more, saving you time and money while helping you build customer trust. Plus, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center, all powered by Vanta AI. Over 8,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and improve security in real time. Our audience gets a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/special. That's VANTA.com/special for $1,000 off.
The holidays are officially here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to deck the halls and your home with festive cheer. If you're on the hunt for the perfect tree, we've got you covered. Explore our huge assortment of trees in all shapes, sizes, and styles. Designed to fit any holiday vibe and every holiday budget, like the Jackson Noble Fir. It's not only super easy to assemble, but it also comes pre-lit with 1,200 color-changing bulbs and multiple lighting functions. Or maybe the flocked Starry Light Fraser fir is more your style. With over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that hold their shape, this tree's ready to shine right out of the box.
Ooh, wow.
Whether it's trees, wreaths, or twinkling lights, we've got everything you need to make your home holiday ready. So shop now at HomeDepot.com and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
Attention parents and grandparents. Are you searching for the perfect gift for your kids this holiday season? Give the gift of adventure that will last all year long. A Guardian bike. The easiest, safest, and quickest bikes for kids to learn on. Kids are learning to ride in just one day. No training wheels needed. What makes Guardian bikes special? They're the easiest to ride thanks to the thoughtful engineering, lightweight frames, and kid-friendly components. Kids love how fun and easy they are to ride. And parents appreciate the safety features, like the patented braking system that prevents head-over handlebar accidents. Guardian bikes are the only kids' bikes designed and assembled in a USA factory, ensuring top-notch quality and durability. They're built to last and make perfect hand-me-downs. Join the hundreds of thousands of happy families by getting a Guardian bike today. Their holiday sales have begun, offering the biggest deal of the year. Save up to 33% on bikes, no code needed. Plus, get free shipping and a free bike lock and pump with your first purchase after signing up for their newsletter. Visit GuardianBikes.com to take advantage of these deals and secure your holiday gifts today. Happy riding!
For many of us, the holiday season means more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more of your personal information in more places you can't control. It only takes one innocent mistake, even if it's not your mistake, to expose you to identity theft. Not to worry, LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second and alerts you to threats you could miss by yourself, even if you keep an eye on your bank and credit card statements. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed. The last thing you want to do this holiday season is face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other financial losses from identity theft all alone. Gift yourself the peace of mind that comes with LifeLock and spend more time doing more of the holiday things you love. Visit lifelock.com/iHeart and save up to 40% your first year. That's 40% off at lifelock.com/iHeart. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
Hey, it's Alicia. When people tell me, wow, you have such beautiful skin, for a second I say, who are you talking to? Because I never did. Keys Soul Care is a holistic beauty and skincare line I created, working with a leading dermatologist. I'm so proud of these product offerings because they're all about caring for the whole self, inside and out. Nourish your skin, nurture your soul.
Try clinically proven skincare from Alicia Keys with 25% off your first purchase at KeysSoulCare.com using code GLOWONAIR.
But the third thing I want to point out on here is financial stability and that you experienced during childhood. And I would say this would probably be real or perceived. I think a lot of times our parents and caregivers can kind of create the environment for us that we don't always know what exactly is happening financially. And sometimes that's intentional on our parents' part, sometimes not. But whatever financial stability during childhood you felt will have an impact on the way that you now approach money, experience your own lifestyle. So whether there was a sense of having enough or constantly feeling like maybe money was running out. I know for me growing up, my dad's job, he's an entrepreneur, and it was either feast or famine. And a lot of times, and they would even talk to us about this, like, we don't want you to worry about money. That's for mom and dad. That's for us to be worried about. And I respect that certainly. There are certainly, adult themes that children just don't need to be concerned about. But what I noticed too in that was I would only really become aware of our financial situation when it was starting to run out and we needed to kind of pinch the grocery budget or clip the coupons and do the different things. And so for me, that's one of the pieces of that financial stability during childhood is I didn't know much, but then when I was aware of it, it was when there wasn't a lot coming in. And so that's neither good nor bad. It just was the experience. And so for me, understanding that, that's what I went, that was my experience. It helps me to kind of know how I experience money now, what running out feels like, and how to plant my feet in reality more than necessarily what I might be experiencing emotionally as a result of that.
Yeah, I think something that like I am seeing right now is in somebody else that I know who recently like inherited money and grew up without a lot of money, or at least not the ability to use a lot of money. And then when he inherited his parents' like retirement, it wasn't extravagant, but definitely like a good amount. And now he is just going ape with spending. And it'll be a while before it runs out, but it will run out at this rate. Yeah. And you can get it like you do that rebelling thing. Like, I didn't get this as a child and I deserve it. Now I can afford it and I'm going to make up for lost time. And we're always making up for lost time with that mindset. And until you decide what is enough, like what is making up for it, you have to put a line in the sand and decide, okay, yes, I have deserved this for a while and I haven't gotten it. That's normal. We all deserve a lot more than maybe what we can afford, whether it's, circumstantial or intentional or whatever. We did the I deserve mentality is toxic episode, and that's kind of what the gist of it was. But we make the best with what we have. And we don't, we try not to be delusional and, move outside of that. But like when you come into this, like maybe gift of inheritance or a raise or insurance payout, it's good to make up for some of that. It is good, but you have to decide when have you made up for it. Otherwise, you put yourself immediately back in the position of deserving. Well, at that point, then you feel guilty. Then you've got another added layer of guilt for having, quote unquote, maybe squandered something that was a gift. So whether that's reality or not. So really figuring out like how to use, because I think more of us are going to have this like rebellious experience, like the financial stability in childhood is going to be rocky versus having a lot of uber wealth and squandering. I don't think that's our audience.
Frugal friends.
Yeah, I think we're speaking to a specific audience, but so yeah, figuring out how to use those gifts so that you either like you don't squander them or you don't let the hedonic treadmill of lifestyle inflation get out of hand, and you can really like break that cycle again.
Yeah.
Next for me is experiences with money. So that would be allowances. Were you given the opportunity to earn an allowance, or were you given money to spend whenever you asked for it? And then also earning opportunities outside of like chores. Were you able to have a job? Did your parents not want you to have a job? Were you not able to have a job because of extracurriculars? So like none of it is bad. It's just knowing what your situation was and how it impacted your upbringing, right? So like we want to teach our kids hard work. So sometimes a parent will decide that's in the form of doing a sport. So there is no work. So there is no like earning of money. And sometimes the parent will decide that that's a job, or it will be chores. And so those all come with different experiences of how did we get the things we wanted in childhood, and how does that affect us now? For me, I wanted a job as soon as I could, and I had to wait when I turned 16, I had to wait 6 months because I had band season and I couldn't work during band season.
Of course
but
not.
I wanted financial autonomy.
Wait, what did you play?
Immediately.
Clarinet?
Yeah.
I knew that.
You did know that? Because I think I've told you.
I can't tell if I knew because you told me or if I know because I just know you and I know what instrument you'd play.
Could be either at this point. But so I wanted financial autonomy like really quickly. That was a personality trait within me. But also I saw my parents struggle financially. They didn't go into debt. They didn't buy more than they could afford. And to me, that translated to they were poor. That's what I thought at 16. And I was like, I want my own money to do whatever I want with it because I can't rely on these people. And that's what I have taken that into adulthood and know like I cannot rely on my mom financially. I just can't. And that has been something I've learned from childhood. Whether it's financial or otherwise, that's what I've internalized. And so I got a job as soon as I could to make my own money and save it. But they bought me a car, my mom and dad. So like that was something I didn't have to save for.
Yeah.
And I think it also comes down to like maybe knowing your child and their personality at that point. But I don't know how they could afford the car. And then I just assumed they couldn't afford anything for me. It was obviously my prefrontal cortex was not fully developed.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing we have to realize. These things that we learned about money in our childhood, they may or may not be real.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Our understanding of money may not actually be accurate, which I think I told this story on the podcast before, but for the sake of underscoring that point, I remember my mom would often say, we can't afford that. We'd be at the store and ask for something, we can't afford that, can't afford that. Then we get up to the cash register at one point and she pays for something and they ask her if she wants cash back. And she says yes. And so they give her money back. And in my child brain, I could not understand. And I said to her, I'm like, well, Mom, just go up to the cash register and ask them for money like you always do. Like you just got money from them. And I don't know if she tried to explain it or it's just like, that's not how it worked. But I couldn't understand. I'm like, so wait, you gave them a little bit of money and then we get our groceries and then they give you a lot of bit of money back. And now we leave with more money, more groceries. I don't know why we can't afford stuff. I think you're lying to me.
Yes.
So inaccurate understanding of money as a child. Now I know she probably wasn't lying to me. We really couldn't afford those things. So anyhow, the last and final one for me, kind of pulled from this article, is our emotional connection with money in childhood. How did we feel about it? How did we see others were feeling about it? What type of attachment do we have with this kind of thing that we are engaging with pretty regularly? Was money associated with stress or conflict? If that's the case, it could lead to multiple things, either overspending now in adulthood or super restrictive spending. Like you've already talked about, Jen, sometimes whatever we experienced, if we perceive it as not great, it could lead us to extremes of either I'm going to do the exact opposite of what my parents did, or I'm going to really buckle down harder than what I thought that my parents did so that I don't have to experience like this degree of whatever I perceived as deprivation. Or maybe there's a great emotional attachment to money and you're just out here making great decisions and that's lovely too. But, or was spending associated in childhood with here's how we celebrate, here's how we spend time. I know you and I have talked about that in the past, Jen. A lot of times weekend activities were just going shopping, going to the mall. And so there's an attachment that can happen with that type of situation of, oh, this is a fun thing. This is how we have fun. This is how we celebrate, is through spending money.
Yeah. And I want to just wrap it up with this idea that sometimes how our parents handled money can not just make us judgmental towards money and impact how we view money, it can also impact how we view our parents. And it can make us judgmental towards them. I know it has made me judgmental towards my mother for sure. And giving ourselves grace and giving our parents grace, we are all working with the tools that we have. And sometimes it's not a lot of tools. And it is only in our power to pick up more tools for ourselves and to maybe overcome some of these generational beliefs that are misguided about money or practices that are misguided around money. All we can control is ourselves and the way we move forward. And we just want to pick up more knowledge so that we have more tools and take action with those tools. And it's not we can't control what our parents do with money, whether they pick up tools or not. But we are all working with some kind of generational starting point that we cannot control, and to have grace for those around us.
Yeah, well said. I've heard the criticism about psychology and therapy and digging into childhood of, just so you can blame everything on your childhood and your upbringing and not take any responsibility for yourself now. And I would say that's not the reason for understanding childhood and upbringing. It is so that we can take responsibility for ourselves through understanding ourselves better. It's also not to make excuses for parents, but also to recognize, like you said, they were working with the tools that they're working with. There's this concept within therapeutic circles of radical acceptance. And so I think as I look back, on some of my experiences, and I had both great and not so great experiences, right? Like all of us. It's this, here is what happened, at least my perception of it. And it's not my job to place blame or to point fingers or to harbor bitterness about some of these pieces, but to just say, this is what was as I experienced it. How is it impacting me now? And what can I do to own myself now in my own decisions, how I approach money and how I approach my parents? Like, they are whole people too. And their financial decisions were wrapped in all of the other aspects of who they are and how they were raised. And so, like you're saying, giving grace to ourselves, giving grace to our parents, those people who raised us, and now choosing, what do we want to do with this? What was good? What do I want to carry with me? And what's not so great? What's not going to be benefiting me and I can move on from? But I think it does start with understanding this, because there's so many puzzle pieces that will help us to explain, oh, that's what this is connected to, rather than the shame cycle that we can find ourselves on of that why, that defensive question we can ask ourselves, why do I do this? Why do I keep finding myself in this cycle of arguments with my partner? Okay, how did the way that they perceived money and they were raised impact what they're saying now? And how did the way that I was raised and my experiences with money impact this? And a lot of times when we're able to have those types of conversations and get to the root of it, so much more flexibility and freedom for one another and a pathway forward, I think, can be found. We can become unstuck when we can put these puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. Another way we can become unstuck in an episode when it, gets to a really good tipping point.
The Bill of the Week. That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. My Bill of the Week is Mint Mobile for our cell phones. We have 4 phones on our plan. Last year at this time, we were paying $227 per month to a certain highfalutin, very notable mobile plan. $40 of that was for phones, so we had to stay with them until December to pay off our phones. But as soon as we paid off our phones, we switched to Mint Mobile. With Mint Mobile, for 4 phones, we paid $340, taxes included, for 6 total months. We got 3 months free. So service has been great. Then we just renewed our contract with Mint Mobile, and for 12 months, we'll be getting 4 phones for $300, actually $295 for a 3-month span. So that equates to about $75 per phone or $25 per phone. You can't beat it. Everybody should switch to Mint Mobile. Thanks, you two. Love listening to you. Would love to hear my bill of the week on your show. Thank you.
Well, Michelle, you got what you wanted, and promise that you are not a plant by Mint, because we do love Mint. And I assume that you're not a plant. But that
they sent you to cut. I mean, if that is, that's going deep.
That is going deep. I mean,
Mint Mobile knows us
Ryan
that
Reynolds
well.
is on another level with advertising. They're submitting bills of the week. But I mean, we do love Mint. And the reason that we shill for Mint so hard is because before we were even on iHeart, everyone was saying how Mint really helped them lower their phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can use mintmobile.com/frugal for a deal, or frugalfriendspodcast.com/mint.
Yeah.
Either of those will work.
It's cool to hear a listener actually do it and see how much it's working for you to go from paying $237 a month to something like $50 a month.
Yeah.
And I was doing the math on some of the numbers you said. Either way, it's significantly less than what you were paying. So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing, Michelle. Again, mintmobile.com/frugal. Because why not if you're listening to this bill?
They didn't pay for this. So you should use frugalfriendspodcast.com/mint.
Okay.
Because then we get a little kickback from that one.
This is how we hack it.
So yeah, let's hack it.
This is how we become millionaires.
Yes.
Okay, if you are listening and you've got a bill that you want to share about some company we've shilled for in the past and how it has actually helped you save money, or if your name is Bill, we have yet to hear from you, Bill. Please call us. frugalfriendspodcast.com/Bill. Can't wait to hear it.
The holidays are officially here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to deck the halls and your home with festive cheer. If you're on the hunt for the perfect tree, we've got you covered. Explore our huge assortment of trees in all shapes, sizes, and styles. Designed to fit any holiday vibe and every holiday budget, like the Jackson Noble Fir. It's not only super easy to assemble, but it also comes pre-lit with 1,200 color-changing bulbs and multiple lighting functions. Or maybe the flocked Starry Light Fraser fir is more your style. With over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that hold their shape, this tree's ready to shine right out of the box.
Ooh, wow.
Whether it's trees, wreaths, or twinkling lights, we've got everything you need to make your home holiday ready. So shop now at homedepot.com and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Attention parents and grandparents. Are you searching for the perfect gift for your kids this holiday season? Give the gift of adventure that will last all year long. A Guardian bike. The easiest, safest, and quickest bikes for kids to learn on. Kids are learning to ride in just one day. No training wheels needed. What makes Guardian bikes special? They're the easiest to ride thanks to the thoughtful engineering, lightweight frames, and kid-friendly components. Kids love how fun and easy they are to ride. And parents appreciate the safety features, like the patented braking system that prevents head-over handlebar accidents. Guardian bikes are the only kids' bikes designed and assembled in a USA factory, ensuring top-notch quality and durability. They're built to last and make perfect hand-me-downs. Join the hundreds of thousands of happy families by getting a Guardian bike today. Their holiday sales have begun, offering the biggest deal of the year. Save up to 33% on bikes, no code needed. Plus, get free shipping and a free bike lock and pump with your first purchase after signing up for their newsletter. Visit guardianbikes.com to take advantage of these deals and secure your holiday gifts today. Happy riding!
Hey, it's Alicia. When people tell me, wow, you have such beautiful skin, for a second, I say, who are you talking to? Because I never did. Keys Soul Care is a holistic beauty and skincare line I created, working with a leading dermatologist. I'm so proud of these product offerings because they're all about caring for the whole self, inside and out. Nourish your skin, nurture your soul.
Try clinically proven skincare from Alicia Keys with 25% off your first purchase at keyssoulcare.com using code GLOWONAIR.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Code Red, your monthly visitor. Whatever you call it, there's only one name you need to know when it comes to managing your period in comfort and style. Say hello to Knix. That's KNIX, the #1 leak-proof brand in North America. Knix has revolutionized the period underwear game with their incredible line of leak-proof undies designed for real bodies. From sizes extra small to 4XL. With Knix, you get underwear that look, feel, and machine wash just like regular underwear, but feature hidden protection technology that can absorb from 1 to 14 regular tampons worth of liquid. So you feel dry, comfy, and free. Millions have already made the switch to Knix, and now you can too. Just go to Knix.com and get 15% off with promo code SHOP15. That's KNIX.com, promo code SHOP15 for 15% off life-changing period underwear. That's KNIX.com, promo code SHOP15.
And now it's time for the lightning round. Pew, pew, pew.
All right. I kind of love this one. What 7-year-old money habits do you still see pop up in your adult spending today?
Do you have an answer?
I want to hear yours first. Did you make this question?
I did.
Yeah, I was like, this is a Jill question. Yeah.
Well,
So
it ties into the article, you know, the 7-year-old. I realize, connected to what I have already shared in my vulnerability throughout this episode, of not really talking about money growing up unless we were kind of running out of it, has kind of impacted my own need to kind of hedge my bets. And so I will notice that I will just kind of like stuff away. I'm a little bit of like a
You are
stuffer.
a stuffer.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. My desire to like hide a $20 bill on the Christmas tree. I don't know if any of you heard about that. That's
so many
that's a
connections
7-year-old
being made right now.
That is a 7-year-old desire, right? That is not an adult desire to like stuff a $20 bill in with the Christmas tree for next year. That's 7-year-old Jill.
Oh my gosh, I am dying right now. That is hilarious.
You know what else I've noticed? That I do this with food too. So we just got back from a European vacation, which was very lovely. We'd put money away and saved for this and then did it, which was awesome. But I noticed along the way, because we were traveling with friends, I noticed, because no one else did this, any place we were that offered, so like let's say a continental breakfast, I cannot leave the continental breakfast without taking something with me.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not the big purse, like I'm not doing the things that the owners would feel like, okay, woman, stop. You know, it's just I'm on my way out and I'm gonna grab a croissant.
Yeah, a little sneaky snack.
And I'm on my way out and I'm gonna grab, some of those crackers. Actually, the pre-workout snack that Eric had this morning was from Switzerland, where I like snagged and hoarded a little bit of Nutella and a little cracker. Never ended up eating it, just in case. I just don't want to be caught without. a little snacky,
When
a little
times are dry.
$20, a little, so there's something somewhere squirreled away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that. Honestly,
there's still little croissant crumbs in my purse. Well, I said I don't bring the big purse. I did still put the croissant in my purse.
Oh my gosh.
And it came in handy like 5 hours later that day.
Of course. Yeah. That's just smart on vacation to do.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What about you, Jen?
Okay. So I think some of my aversion to budgeting comes from my childhood, because my parents never budgeted. They never consulted their future to see if what they were doing in the present was a good idea. And so they would just kind of impulsively do activities, impulsively buy things. Everything was very impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
And now that makes me almost cherish impulsivity.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to take Kai to Starbucks to get a cake pop because he loves cake pops, I want to do that, and I don't want to check a budget.
Mm-hmm.
In order to that, to me, I don't want anybody to tell me what I can and cannot do, even if that person is me.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I have become a passionate proponent for values-based spending, is because I don't want to consult a piece of paper or an app for permission to do things. And I also want to keep in check to make sure the things that I'm doing impulsively are truly in line with what I value. And that I can quickly tell the difference even in that fight or flight mode, where it's like, just that impulsive thinking, like, ooh, I want to do this. No, I don't. Actually, do not. That's, not what I want to do. Versus saying yes. And that, for the values-based spending and our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, has truly been what I wanted to have.
Yeah.
And what I've needed to not work against my brain, not work against my upbringing, to still value and cherish the things about me that make me me.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I do that in a way that also helps me save for the future?
Yeah.
And save for things like a vacation.
Yeah, not make 7-year-old money decisions.
Right. Like, I don't have to live a life, like a half life, just to be somebody else's definition of financially stable.
Wow. You've got a really inspirational story, and I'm over here just squirreling
No,
croissants.
I love yours. I love yours. It is my favorite thing today. So,
well, thanks everyone so much for listening. And thank you also, all of you little gems out here writing us reviews like this one from Daphne, or Dapney?
Daphne.
Gentle guidance instead of finance shouting. We do kind of yell a lot, but I appreciate that. 5 stars. This podcast is the perfect chaser after an intense listen to other financial advice podcasts that tend to be prescriptive and intense.
No idea who you're talking
listen
about.
to this weekly to help me keep a steady pace towards my goals. As someone who has used shopping to cure boredom, this is almost like a daily vitamin that boosts my resolve to stay true to what I value and resist spending that doesn't serve me. A great companion in addition to shows like Choose FI and Money Guy.
Ooh, we're going to be on Choose FI in a few weeks.
I like that you shouted out other podcasts that might be kind of in a similar vein.
We told
or if
people
you like
to do that.
these, then you might listen to us. We did ask for that. And Daphne, you responded. So thank you so much.
Yes. So please, if you have some other podcast recommendations that we are similar to, it helps if somebody has listened to another show like Choose FI or Money Guys and they already like that, and you say, this is kind of like that, but with girls, then that helps them see if it's right for them or not.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Sirianni.
You got the squeaky chair.
I got the squeaky chair in the move. Yeah.
In the move.
In the move.
In the post-hurricane move.
We're still reeling post-hurricane because Jill had to move all her furniture to higher ground.
Yep.
And one of our chairs is squeaky, and Jill used to have it. And now I have it.
Now Jen has it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad to be without it.
I know you didn't
Share the
do it because
burden.
Eric did it. Eric took the chair down, right?
Well, I think we first did both pull that chair down. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know which order they went in.
So maybe Eric did it for you.
Maybe, yeah. I wonder how well you can hear it on the audio.
I don't think you probably can hear it.
I don't know.
I mean, there has been times where there has been a lot of things going on outside, like cockadoodle doing, and you can't really hear any of it on the show.
Yeah.
From what I haven't gotten any emails about it.
If you do hear the squeaky chair in our episodes, leave us a review. Make it 5 stars.
And say, Jen, I'm so sorry for your loss of the non-squeaky chair. Prayers and thoughts. Thoughts and prayers.
With Amex Platinum, you can enjoy access to dedicated card member entrances at select events because skipping the line makes you the star of game day. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Card member entrance access not limited to Amex Platinum card.
Oh man, nothing is worse than a bad cold that knocks you down hard. That's why it's convenient to keep the new Theraflu soft chews right at your fingertips. They have the same multi-symptom relief that you get from Theraflu. Not only are they packed with the power of Theraflu in every single bite, but the easy-to-take chewables are simpler than making soup or tea or whatever. So be prepared and grab some new Theraflu soft chews. Fast, anywhere relief by your side. Use as directed.
Dear Toyota, I need a word with you about your Crown family. I started driving one and suddenly, I love traffic. No, really, rush hour is my happy place. Intentional wrong turns feel so right. I could sit in the comfort of my Crown forever, basking in its elegance, feeling on top of the world. But you see how this is strange for me, right? Who gets excited about traffic? This is on you, Toyota. And send.
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
With Shipped same-day delivery, it's easy to get holiday essentials from the stores you shop most. Like the brands you love from Target, home essentials from Lowe's, or beauty products from Sephora. The best part? You also get more time to do what you love, like bake cookies, decorate your space, and toast the season with friends. Get more from your favorite stores this holiday season. Download the Shipped app and start shopping today.
Vitamin Water is from New York. We needed a drink that can keep up with the music scene in the city. We gotta see our favorite DJ perform in Brooklyn at 3 a.m. or sing karaoke in the Village, also at 3 a.m. Drink Vitamin Water. It's from New York.